Where are your kids at?
No kids.
You got some kids? Who else is in the car with you?
That girl.
Okay. And her kids?
The kids in there?
They have the kids, yep.
No kids in there?
No, the kids are not in your car. You're more concerned about going to jail than you are these fucking kids, right?
What happens when these dangerous caretakers realize they've been caught red-handed? Kalamazoo babysitter's case emerges to prove that there are darker depths.
The amount of injury that this boy sustained was astronomical.
I know I didn't put my hands on that baby. I didn't do nothing wrong to that baby.
And all the information that we were receiving is there's no way this kid could sustain that, the injuries that it had, and sustain life.
On August the 23rd, 2017, 11-month-old Jason Downey was dropped off by his babysitter, Bryant Rowland, like any other day. A baby boy with his whole life ahead of him. Just hours later, Jason was rushed to the hospital, clinging to his life with severe head injuries. Bryant claimed it was a simple fall down a small flight of stairs, but the medical evidence told a much darker, more sinister story. Over the next 4 agonizing days, Jason suffered seizures and immense trauma from horrific injuries. Injuries so severe that they tragically took this young child's life far too early. As the truth began to unfold, it became terrifyingly clear this was no accident. Bryant's lies destroyed a family's future in the most unimaginable way. What evil can make someone hurt a precious child so cruelly?
To get your side out there. Otherwise, like you've heard me say this before, okay? You don't want this boy's autopsy and the pictures of his autopsy to say your side of the story, because you're going to end up being the loser. All right? Something happened that day, and I can tell you right now what the doctor said. The amount of injury that boy had, and I have all the paperwork right here. Look at the actual autopsy is dang near longer than the actual police report, okay? And the amount of injury, and I had separate interviews with these doctors, okay? The amount of injury that this boy sustained was astronomical. And it's absolutely impossible that the injury that he sustained in your house that day came from falling down to the 18 damn inch. I know it, and then it changed. I know it, and then it changed.
Yeah, because y'all was sitting up here calling me a fucking monster and shit, and I know I ain't no fucking monster. I ain't did nothing.
Well, somebody did something, and you're
like I said, I had 9 kids in that house, in my kitchen, cooking for 9 kids when he got pushed. And I reacted like a parent should act.
Yep, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm not disputing that part at all.
Here and I got y'all telling me I'm all types of fucking monsters and shit.
I'm not disputing that what you did was wrong there at all. If he was to fall from a step like that, and maybe he did fall from a step like that, but a lot more happened before that, Brian. A lot more. And then...
Man, I'm not the one that y'all need to be looking at. There's all types of shit all on Facebook. My wife people sending my wife messages and shit talking about how this girl is poisoning her fucking kids and shit.
There was no... Listen, here's the autopsy. There's no damn poison in the body here. Okay, that was done. That was all toxicology. There's no poison.
Yeah, and from what CPS is telling my wife, that shit, the autopsy really ain't say shit about me. That I did nothing.
Well, the autopsy doesn't specifically...
I know it don't say, oh, well, Brian Rowland did.
No, it doesn't. The autopsy is a separate report that it doesn't show guilt, or it doesn't try to steer anything anyway. All it does is report facts that it sees. Okay, that's it.
As detectives pieced together the events surrounding 11-month-old Jason's unfortunate passing, contradictions began to emerge in the babysitter's account of what had happened on that fateful day. Bryant had been entrusted to care for the innocent baby boy, but the severity of Jason's head injuries just didn't align with his story of a simple fall down a small flight of stairs. What's more, Bryant had a history of domestic violence charges in the past. As a prime suspect, detectives knew it was time to apply pressure and finally break him. With a baby's life senselessly cut short and a family utterly devastated, investigators were determined to stop at nothing to uncover the sickening truth.
Yes, it is.
Now, I don't want to be sitting here and argue with you. I want to sit in here and find out why, okay?
You got my story from 6 months ago.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
So, something more happened. Something else happened. Because the kid... The medical report states there's no way he arrived at your house with those injuries. It's impossible, Brian. It's impossible. He sustained those injuries after he arrived at your home. at 3 p.m. Okay?
Okay, well, if that's what it proved, then the prosecutor been had that autopsy report, like almost 4 months? Why all of a sudden now? Because like
Then why
they
make
said
sure
up there,
everything's
like CPS sat up there and had told me, not this new CPS, not that Michelle.
I can't control how long it takes them to review something.
Like,
That's not my
like
control.
she sat up there and said that the autopsy wasn't saying nothing, that it was coming down to
Sure.
the medical examiners.
Sure. And I
I
can't
ain't
control
doing nothing,
I can't
so-
control how long a report is being reviewed at the prosecutor's office. John and I can't control any of that. Okay? We can only control what we can only control. Just like you can only control what you can only control. And you have a little bit of control right now.
Because I always got control. I deal with 7
I mean,
all
in your
fucking
fate
time.
here. A little bit of control on your fate here. Okay?
For what? You trying to send me to prison for something that I
I'm
didn't
not
do?
trying to send you to prison. The last thing that anybody wants as a detective to do is to send the wrong person to jail. It's a absolute
Yeah.
worst
so-
thing. What do I benefit from it? Nothing. What do I benefit? What would we benefit from doing it? Nothing.
I
You think
really
that we
don't
get a
know, but
bonus if somebody
what
goes
am I
in
supposed to
prison?
do? Sit up here and tell y'all a fucking lie that I did something to this baby and I didn't do nothing? When I'm sitting up here in my kitchen cooking for 9 kids when this shit happened?
I'm not saying that it wasn't. It didn't happen right then. It was a series of things that occurred. Okay. All right. It didn't happen when he fell off the damn 18-inch step, Brian. There's no way around that. It did not happen while you were cooking food, and he got pushed, supposedly pushed by his 4-year-old brother. Didn't happen. It's not feasible.
Well, I know I didn't touch that baby and I didn't do nothing wrong to that baby.
Then who did?
And that's a good question because I didn't do nothing.
But it happened when he was there.
As the interrogation continued, Bryant carefully recounted the events of that fateful day, attempting to reaffirm his innocence in 11-month-old Jacian's tragic death. However, his own words seemed to paint a picture of a man who was ill-equipped and underqualified for the critical job of childcare. A man who devalued the fragility and immense importance of keeping babies safe from harm.
About a
You
baby.
didn't document that report?
This is about a baby. This is my fucking life on the line.
It is.
So what?
John, talk to your cousin.
Now, if this would have been a grown man or something, then like, we probably would have had a problem. But this is a fucking baby.
With every added detail, Brian's statement appeared increasingly full of careless disregard for Jacian's well-being as an infant. Simple tasks like ensuring the baby didn't fall or deterring him from potential hazards seemed excruciatingly absent from Brian's priorities. As the interrogation continued, a disturbing pattern emerged, one of casual indifference to the care standards society rightfully demands of anyone watching over a child. And this indifference may have led to unthinkable consequences for baby Jacian.
This is about a baby. This is my fucking life on the line.
It is.
So what?
John, talk to your cousin.
Now, if this would have been a grown man or something, then like, we probably would have had a problem. But this is a fucking baby. As much as I love kids in this
And
fucking...
you know what? The doctors are gonna say on the stand, there is no way that this kid could have lasted 6 hours.
Well, how did he do it? How did he do it? Because it seemed like he was fine until he got pushed off the stairs.
It happened inside of your home.
Okay, and so you telling me there wasn't no time from the time that he arrived until all of a sudden when he got pushed off the stairs, what, about a half hour later, that's when he started sitting up there having the so-called seizure, and I didn't even know that that's what the fuck that was because he was sleeping and he was stretching and shit like he was like a baby stretch when they move. So I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So you telling me that it couldn't have lasted that long? So whatever happened, this should have happened like earlier that day, right?
That's
So whenever this shit was going on with him, it shouldn't have happened, right?
I wish I knew because
Because the only thing that I know is that he got pushed off the fucking stairs.
But there was so much more than that. It's not how it happened.
Right, he arrives. He's fine, all right? When he's there, your cousin's there, his girl's there. He's fine for a while. He is a normal baby. At some point throughout the course of that day when he's there with you, throughout those hours, something happens to him beyond just falling down the stairs. Kids fall, kids get pushed. I mean, you got, how many kids are your own? 7? They don't die from that. Not from an 18-inch, you know what I'm saying? They don't die
I
from
know.
an 18-inch step. So what more happened between that time frame?
Like I said, nothing.
There's pieces of the puzzle that are not being filled here. I mean, what it comes down to is the kid's in your care. The medical doctor that reviews the case, reviews the autopsy, and looks it over, says, okay, well, this is something that's out of the scope of that, of a baby falling 18 inches. This is actual, real physical damage that happened to this kid. So you can't fill in the blanks as to what happened. I mean, it's just kind of hard to swallow, you know what I'm saying? It's a hard one to say, well, he's got a lot of kids in there. And I get that there's a lot of kids, and that's a ton of stress, but you got to know what's going on.
My kids don't stress me out.
As the interrogation intensified, detectives hammered Bryant Rowland with discrepancy after discrepancy between his version of events and witness accounts from that fateful day. His claims of little Jason simply falling down a small staircase were being systematically dismantled. Contradictions rapidly piled up, leaving Bryant with less and less room to twist the deception.
I know I didn't put my hands on that baby. I didn't do nothing wrong to that baby.
Okay, so now, what about when you fell down the steps with him?
Okay.
Explain that. What time? What point did that happen? How many hours
Earlier
before?
in the day? That was like maybe an hour or so after he got there.
But while we're just discussing all this, that didn't come up at all. When John asked you, what happened? Why didn't you bring that up?
Because I figured you already told everybody. I told you the story.
Right.
Right, but I'm asking you. I don't care if you told Bill. Like, I'm just trying to figure out
Because
what
when
else.
he fell, he wasn't red. He ain't had no red mark. He ain't had no lumps, no bruises, no nothing on him.
So he fell down how many? No, I'm remembering your steps. They go up and then they go up again. What parts did you fall down?
The first slight right there.
So like right when you walk out of your house, your bedroom there, that first portion?
Yes.
And then where
that
did you
was
go?
earlier in the day.
Did you go over onto the grass then or the dirt? Or
No,
you just.
the balancer cause.
Oh, okay. So you fall to there, and how were you holding him at the time when you fall?
I was holding him like you're supposed to hold him. I had him one arm like this, and he was holding onto my shirt like this.
Okay. And you just tripped and fell?
No.
Well, how
I
did you
just
fall?
passed out.
Oh, from what?
I got a habit of passing out.
I did not know that. All right, so you pass out.
My body gets overheated and
Backed into a corner by the overwhelming evidence against him, Brian suddenly claimed to suffer from unexpected fainting spells, a transparent attempt to create an alibi for 11-month-old Jason's fatal injuries. But this seasoned detective saw right through this blatant lie. Bryant then rapidly cycled through a range of psychological tactics to deflect blame, deflection, minimization, and appeals to his good character. Final deception to try and save himself. However, investigators remained steadfast and relentless in dismantling each excuse, each manipulation Bryant threw their way.
You wake up. I mean, how long are you passed out for?
not that long, because I don't know, because my son was waking me up.
Okay. Which son is this?
My 5-year-old.
Okay. So you pass out, you're not sure how long you're out for.
Couldn't have been that long.
Do you have an estimate? I mean, I have no idea. I have no gauge of this. Are we talking 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours?
Maybe a possible of a minute.
Okay. When you wake up, what's the baby doing?
Crying?
Okay. And I guess, do you have clarity at that point in time as to what the heck's going on or anything? Or
I sat there and it was started coming back, but I can hear him crying.
okay.
So I picked him up, examined him. He didn't have no lumps, no bruises on him, no nothing.
Where was he laying in relation to you on the
Like
landing?
up under when we fell, it's like I landed on top of him a little bit.
Okay. So when you woke up from falling, when you come to, when your 5-year-old wakes you up, how were you laying? What position? On your stomach, on your back, on your side?
Like my stomach.
Okay, so you're on your
So I
stomach.
was on top of him.
So the baby's underneath you, or around where? You say stomach,
About
knees.
stomach area.
Okay.
Cause my legs and shit was all on the balancer.
What's a balancer?
Banister.
Oh, the
Yeah.
hand railing. Okay, gotcha. So your legs are up on that. Baby's underneath you. You hear him crying when you wake up, right? Is that correct? And then he doesn't have anything, no bruises, no nothing?
He wasn't bleeding, no nothing.
It's just wood, right? If I remember correctly? No splinters, No, nothing.
No.
And you had nothing, no injury.
No, I had a little scrape. That was it. And
Okay.
it wasn't even a scrape.
Do you remember that first night we talked to you in here? The night it happened. You never, ever, ever, never mentioned that. We asked if even that even happened. John and I asked you, did you fall down the stairs? Did Jason fall down the stairs? You said no. No, it didn't happen. I mean, that's why we're struggling here with this. That's why, okay? You feel me? We're struggling with it. Because let's say he did fall down the steps like that, okay? That's not gonna do it either.
As the intense interrogation pressed on, Bryant's profound stubbornness and refusal to come clean only fueled the determination of the detectives to get to the bottom of things. Instead of cracking under the mounting pressure and inconsistencies in his story, Bryant doubled down, his resistance hardening with each confronted fabrication.
Well, it won't.
That's just like you sat up there and told me
Yep.
that I could throw him.
Yeah,
And I measured it. A 17 and a half feet. I could launch him straight into that wall, full force.
What's 17 and a half? What's that?
From where you told me I could, where the incident happened in my house. The day when you
Down the hallway?
Yeah.
Down the hall.
You said I can launch him down that hallway, full force, and he hit that wall and still not sustain them injuries.
But there's no way he would hit that wall with such force if you launched him down that 17 feet. He would lose momentum.
He didn't have
He would
no
lose
bumps on him.
momentum before he hit the wall.
But I'm saying he didn't have no bumps on him, he ain't had no breaks on him, he ain't had no knots on his head, no nothing. So what could somebody have did to this baby for him to be like that?
Well,
But y'all think
there's numerous
house.
There's numerous.
But evidently there was something else going on with it because he didn't have no lumps, no bruises, no nothing on him.
There's numerous things that could have happened.
Like what?
Numerous things. Could have been shaken.
Okay, but I heard that they did something on the spinal cord and there wasn't no...
That's not true. His retinas were detached from his eyes.
And that's why they also did something to his spinal cord to see if there was shaking there too, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Where did you hear this at? Tell me. Talk to me.
From CPS.
Okay, I do.
The same ones that's been involved with y'all and talking to the prosecutors.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with CPS, with what they said. I don't know. But the information you just said, that they can tell if a baby has been shaken or not by looking at the spinal cord.
That's why they said that they was having something else done on his spinal cord to tell if
Something else done on the spinal cord.
to tell if he was shaking.
Okay. Well, that's done through the eyes, okay? And his retinas were detached from his eyes.
And you telling me out of all them kids that was running around the house, ain't nobody seen nothing.
There are also 2 other injuries that was explained to me by the doctor. I'm not even going to try to even fake pronounce what these injuries are, okay? But there was 2 injuries. There was letters A through G, okay? For example, I don't even know if it went through G. It might have been more than G or before the letter G, okay? But on the board, okay? We pulled it up on the board in front of me, so I'll tell you how many letters there were.
The interrogation took a wild turn when, armed with the disturbing autopsy report, the detectives dismantled Bryant's claim piece by piece that 11-month-old Jacian's fatal injuries were from a simple fall down a small staircase.
Fast G. Okay, there's 2. The one goes to K. Actually, one goes to I, and the other one goes to G. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Out of this first group, there were 2 letters in here. Okay, and right here, 2 letters that the doctor pointed out that said that it is only occurred not only in Kalamazoo but in the entire North America. Okay, it has only occurred as a result of abuse. 2 of these letters of these injuries. Okay, and I'm not going to try to tell you which ones they are because I don't know. I don't remember. But they don't see it in car accidents. They don't see it in industrial accidents, farm accidents. They don't see it in anything, or dog bites. When a dog mauls a kid, they don't see it in anything except abuse cases causing death. That's it. That is it. And that's fact. So, something's got to happen here. You see where we're coming from? How can we not act on it?
Yeah, but y'all on the abuse is coming from my house. But why is all my kids okay? Why is all them kids okay? And I've been dealing with them way longer than the other kids. And can have other kids over there babysitting. All types of kids. Before this accident.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So why
I
ain't
can't speak for the other kids. That's why I'm asking you. What's different about this day? What happened different this day that they made?
That's what I'm saying. I don't put my hands on them.
Well, I guess let me ask you a simple question then. This is a very simple one. Why did you say that you and him did not, neither he nor you fell down those stairs that day, the first time we talked to you, and then you changed it? Why did you change that? That's an easy question, man.
Because I didn't change it because it wasn't a change. It was an add-on because they sat up here and called me all types of fucking monsters.
Okay, I can.
No.
Yes, yes, they did.
Well, I'm not saying
bald head dude. Yes, they did.
Other bald head dude.
They sat in here and called me all types of monsters and
I think it was
everything.
Gary.
I don't know. No, but I remember, I can't remember if it was myself or him specifically the first time we talked to you, said, hey, is it possible, when we were trying to figure out, hey, what happened to this kid? Is it possible the kid fell down the stairs? And you said, no, absolutely not. And then, is it possible you were holding him, you guys fell down the steps? No, that didn't happen.
You had your back turned, he fell off the landing? No.
All these different, possibilities and no. You know what I'm saying? And then, so why did you change?
With the medical evidence directly contradicting Brian's version of events, the detectives pressed him tirelessly. They would not relent until he finally acknowledged the sickening truth that they suspected all along.
Since he came to my house, you can even ask my wife when the time she was there babysitting. The baby ain't never cried. We have to sit up there and figure out what he wants, if he's hungry or want a bottle or something. The baby would sit in the thing and just sit like this. He would never lay down, no nothing. And then you talk about a Bruce, and then for how you bring your kids over to a stranger house, your other son don't want to come upstairs with some strangers, and you smacking him all this head in his face to get him to go with some strangers. But I'm the one that's abusing the kids though, right? Ain't nobody looking at none of that shit. Everybody pointing the finger at me because she probably did this shit, then dropped them off onto me, and then the little shit that did happen react to all that shit.
We went over that now.
No, we already talked about that. That's impossible. It's impossible. Sorry. I'm sorry. It didn't happen that way. That fall didn't trigger something else in the brain of this child. Didn't happen.
And we asked.
That was specifically.
That was one of the first things we did. Said, hey, is it possible this could be pre-existing?
And then that fall triggered it. No. Sorry.
So all these people you say can vouch for you about, never raising your hand, never doing this and that, they can't vouch for you this exact time. They weren't there with you, right? And again, another thing that's hard to believe, home alone with 8 kids, not getting stressed.
Not possible.
Don't buy it. I mean, you're a human.
Y'all just don't know me.
No, I don't know anyone who wouldn't get stressed with 8 kids, man. Come on.
And you're in the house all day. All day.
I don't know anyone that wouldn't get stressed about that. There's a difference between getting stressed and going hog wild, but to say that you don't even get stressed about it, it's just a little hard to believe.
The medical consensus was clear. JCN's injuries could not have resulted from the scenario Brian described. As the walls closed in, the detectives offered him a final chance at redemption.
I've been sitting up there telling everybody, and it's even her close friends to her to even think she doing shit to her fucking kids. But I'm the one that's on the chopping block for this shit.
You think it's possible that he did it to himself?
No, for him to say the injuries that he sustained, how can he do it to himself?
Right. And it's not. I think you're, maybe getting the wrong. I don't know if you're getting the wrong. Whatever. We're not the ones that are saying this is the amount of force. These are the doctors that are telling us. I'm not a doctor, nor is he. All right. It's the information that's given to us. Hey, is this amount of force? Is it possible the baby fell from 18 inches? No, not possible at all. Okay. Is it possible that he fell down these flight of steps? No, that's not consistent with these injuries out there. Just like if someone got shot in the head. All right, is this injury consistent with a gunshot? Yes, or you know what I mean? There's certain things that are consistent with injuries, and just that's where the amount of force things coming into it. That it took a good amount of force to cause these injuries. And the injuries were sustained while you were there. So any reasonable person's going to say, okay, well, then he knows what happened to the baby. And he's the one responsible for whatever happened to JCN.
I know I didn't do nothing to JCN. Like I said, everybody can tell you. I can have family members come over there and say, well, damn, how don't you hear this? Kids running around doing this and doing that. I let my kids be kids. I didn't have a childhood like that. So I let them do what they gotta do. If they not sitting up there murdering each other, breaking each other, or fighting or something, then there's no need for me to step in.
So when you fall down the stairs with JCN, did you think at all, but maybe I should call 911 or bring him to the hospital, get him checked out? Did you consider doing it?
No.
Okay. Did he act normal after that?
Yeah, he was acting like his same self.
Okay. And when you called or texted his mother, instead of, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't you just bring him to the hospital instead?
At this point, his body language betrayed his internal struggle. The detectives applied escalating pressure, their voices underscoring the gravity of the situation.
I don't know what to tell you other than what I already presented you with is what we're gonna have to, go forward with.
And what the experts have documented in their report, their medical reports.
So if there's something more, like Bill said, if there's something more that slipped your mind that you didn't think about, like before when you didn't think about going down the steps.
My wife can sat there and she done brainstormed the shit out of me.
Well, it didn't happen to, when she brainstormed you, it didn't happen to stir up the memory that you fell on the steps with him. Because, did you know that I talked to her?
Yeah.
Okay. Did she ask you about it? Did she say why?
And I told her.
But what'd you tell her? Why didn't you tell her?
Because I forgot. And she know how I forget. After being beaten your head with spade shovel and all that shit, remember some things you forget and some things you don't.
That's pretty significant though, Brian. It's pretty significant. Don't you think? I'm not being facetious here. I'm being serious. Don't you think that's kind of significant? It's quite an important piece to tell 2 weeks later, and then never tell your wife until your wife is told in November. You didn't tell your wife for almost 3 months, and then I told her.
No, actually, it was sooner than that.
No, it wasn't. I'll tell you when I talked to her. Talked to her November 7th.
Talked to her a couple different times too.
Here I didn't.
How often do you pass out?
November 6th.
I pass out a lot sometimes when I'm standing in the sun for too long. If I'm walking down the street and get overheated, I pass out.
Do you have epilepsy or do you have medical conditions?
I can already ask the doctor. They can even look into it.
So your wife from
They thought they thought that it was because they said that I was a diabetic, but then they put me on this medicine and everything. It was still happening. Then went to a different doctor and he come to find out and say, hey, well, guess what? You're not a diabetic at all. So I've been sitting in the chair and got so hot and passed out in the chair while I was getting my hair braided.
Really?
Yeah.
When was that?
This was some years ago.
And who was braiding your hair?
My wife's friend was
Who? What's her name?
a girl named Tiana Brown.
Tiana Brown.
My wife was sitting on the porch.
Is she light skinned?
Her friend was on the porch.
She's got to be a little bit older now.
Yeah. And everybody kept asking, is you all right? You all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And then all of a sudden I was just,
What year is this?
I can't remember what year this was, but it happened a couple years ago.
So is your wife familiar with the fact that you pass out a lot?
Yeah.
You fell to the ground.
No, while I was getting my hair braided.
You just like fell asleep? I mean,
Yeah, it was like, no, it wasn't just like falling asleep. Because I woke up to them shaking me, talking about, am I all right? And I'm like, yeah, I just need to go and get some air. And I went.
Despite their appeals, Bryant remained resolute in his lies, leaving little choice but to let the damning evidence speak for itself.
is it Roland or Roland? I forget how I pronounce your last.
In the end, Bryant's deception crumbled under the weight of the truth. In the end, he was convicted and sentenced to 12.5 to 40 years for his unthinkable crime against an innocent child. Just when you thought childcare horrors couldn't get any worse, wait until you hear about this ex-daycare worker who was arrested and jailed for allegedly smacking and shoving toddlers on the job.
Can you go ahead and turn around for me? Can you turn around for me? Thank you. Hands on your back. It's going to be for child endangering. Did you think something like this was coming down the pipeline?
On March the 11th, 2023, officers arrived at Curry's residence. Their visit was prompted by evidence gathered during an investigation into the conduct at the daycare center. They were seemingly polite yet firm, indicating the serious nature of their visit. Curry appeared confused but cooperative as he stepped outside to talk to the officers. Tensions built as they asked him to turn and place his hands behind his back, informing him of his arrest for a serious crime.
Hi, Michaela. How are you? I'm Officer Bailey. All right. You mind stepping outside for a sec? Can you go ahead and turn around for me? Can you turn around for me? Thank you. Hands on your back. Okay. Let's go down over here, okay?
I'll chat with you real quick.
Would you?
Danny, can you grab my shoes?
Yep. We can grab shoes right now.
Can we get shoes?
Yeah, sure. We're just gonna hang out down there real quick.
I'll explain.
We'll walk down. Yeah, I'll explain everything to you, okay? You just want to walk real quick?
Dude, do we have slides or slippers?
My hay dudes are downstairs.
The hay dudes? Okay. Okay. Here. Let me make sure these cuffs are good. Okay? I'll kind of explain everything. Okay? So it looks like you got a warrant. Okay? It's going to be for child endangering. Did you think something like this was coming down the pipeline? Somebody kind of...
I've talked to a detective, but that
talked to a
was months
detective.
ago. I figured it's quiet.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything in a couple months.
Sure. Do you have anything on you that's going to poke or stick me? Any weapons or anything like that?
Can I leave my glasses here, though?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. So we are going to have to place you under arrest, okay? We'll take you to Greene County. Is there
The only
anything...
question I have is Brittany Irick at said Greene County? If so...
I have no idea.
Okay, that's my sister. She was arrested from here, and she's not allowed back at the house.
Okay. Well, that's something I can let the COs know.
I
so
don't
that they don't...
think there's like a protection order or anything, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to the COs. I'm sure you'll talk to the COs too. I'm sure they'll make room for it and make sure that that's not going to be an issue. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm just going to quickly make sure you don't have any weapons on you. I'm not doing a full search or
I've
anything
only
like
got
that. Okay.
2 pockets.
You only got 2 pockets. Okay. Where are the pockets at? Oh, okay. I see them.
The investigation into Michaela Curry's conduct began on August the 15th, 2022, following a report received by Fairborn Police regarding a possible assault that occurred the previous day at Creative World of Learning Center on West Goodman Drive. This report stems from a parent noticing an abrasion on their child's side while picking them up from the daycare on August the 14th. When questioned about the injury, Curry claimed he had no knowledge of what had transpired. The next day, the daycare sent the child home with a report indicating that they had conducted their own investigation and terminated the staff member involved, who was later identified as Curry. This initial lack of clarity from Curry, combined with the daycare's internal report, laid the groundwork for a deeper investigation, increasing the tension and urgency of the situation. Police reviewed video evidence provided by the daycare's manager, which revealed disturbing footage of Curry grabbing a child's ankle and pulling the child after the child had thrown toys at someone off camera. The investigation highlighted multiple victims, including a 1-year-old boy, a 1-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old boy, which painted a broader and more troubling picture of the incidents under scrutiny. However, fast forward to March the 11th, 2023, officers had a date with Curry to address the situation.
All right, you got nothing else on you?
No.
Okay, so just gonna warn you right now. If you do have anything else on you and they find it at Greene County, because you're going to have to go through like a scanner and all that. If you have anything on you, that's going to be an additional charge. If you do have something on you right now, we can just deal with it. We can squash it right here and now, okay?
No, there's nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Is there anything else you need from inside? I know he's going to go get your shoes. Do you have a phone or a wallet or something that you need?
My phone's on my desk and my wallet's on my dresser.
You want those? You can leave them here if you want, or you can take them if you want.
I don't think I'd be able to use my phone, but I'd like to have it. Oh, I don't know.
It's up to you. I don't mind. You're being okay with me. I want to be okay with you, okay? If you want, we can get your phone and take that with us, and if you want, we can grab your wallet and we can take that with us as well. Is that something you want?
Yes, please.
Okay. Would you mind telling Pensy just over there? You said it's on the desk in your room?
Yeah, my room is downstairs.
Oh, and you want your glasses to stay here, or you want your glasses to go home or go with you? Phone and wallet, and then could you take these inside? Thanks. Okay. We'll wait for them to get your shoes before I bring the car around, okay?
Do you have any idea how long I'd be here? This is legitimately kind of being in
any trouble?
Sort of trouble.
Okay, sure. So right now,
Grab the clothes.
okay, awesome. I'll be right back and I'll kind of go over some stuff with you.
The officers also showed a degree of understanding and respect by allowing him to gather his personal belongings and say his goodbyes to his family.
All right. Yeah. We'll get in on this side.
Is there any way I can have this switched to the front? If possible. If not, it's...
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. I don't mind doing that at all. You've been fine with us.
Do I need to leave this here?
If you want to take it off, we can leave it here, but the jail's going to take it and put it in your property if you don't. You'll have it when you get out of the jail. Nobody's going to steal it from you, okay?
Because that thing was $80.
Yeah. Go ahead and take a seat. You all right?
Curry had been found guilty of 4 counts of assault and 5 counts of endangering young ones. He was sentenced to 357 days in prison, each day a reminder of his crimes and the lives he had impacted.